In this video, we'll provide our top 10 value plays for the 2025 Week 1 on the main slate for DraftKings and FanDuel. We'll use some of those value plays to construct a full Week 1 DFS lineup on DraftKings. We'll also take a sneak peek at Week 1 in NFL Survivor and reveal what FFC's weekly shows you can expect for the 2025 season. It's a jam-packed show, and it's coming up next. Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Lee with the Fantasy Football Consultants. Now, we're going to get to the NFL Survivor, NFL DFS value plays, and a full lineup all for Week 1. But first, let's talk about the channel as we enter our year 8 on the channel, getting close to 1 million views. And I just want to say from the heart, as the founder of this channel, who's been in every video, thank you so much to our community. You have helped us realize a dream here. One of the challenges, and we alluded to it last year, is this year, co-host Michael Wiley and I have less of our time to dedicate to the channel, and we believe so heavily in the quality of what we do that we didn't want to just put out anything and not have it be great. So we had to make some tough decisions for what our weekly content for the NFL will look like, and we can now reveal it. Our weekly in-season shows, some of you are going to be really happy to hear this. NFL Survivor show returns in its normal format with Michael Wiley and myself being hosts. We'll analyze all the high spread games, give you our opinions and break down the games and tell you the pros and cons, and take a stand and say what our NFL Survivor pick will be for the week. That show for Week 1 is going to be filmed on Tuesday, the day after Labor Day in the evening, so it'll probably be ready for you first thing Wednesday. Sorry for the fact that it is so close to the beginning, into the season, into the preseason, but the good news is we're going to have the most information in order to give you the most knowledgeable picks. We'll see if they'll be right for Week 1. All right. So what about last year? We had an NFL DFS show. Are we going to have time to do that this year? The answer is yes. We are going to continue to do a DraftKings and FanDuel show. And when we do that, we believe in taking a stand on this basically YouTube channel where you build an entire lineup. It tells you the consequences of playing a star and the value of value plays by seeing how it comes together in a full lineup. We are going to do a condensed format, and for the first time in FFC history, I am not going to be the host of the show or even a co-host, and neither will Michael Wiley. We'll be using a new host. Now, I'm going to announce who that new host is going to be, and I think you're going to be pretty excited about it. But I want to emphasize, even though this new host, I think, brings a lot of entertainment value, I want you to know that whatever lineup that new host builds, it will be based on FFC projections. So you're still going to get the same strong background and technical projection knowledge in building a lineup, all based on our NFL DFS Master Class. You can look in the description if you haven't seen our NFL DFS Master Class or feel like you need a refresher that gives you, these are the rules that over time will help you build a successful cash and GPP lineups. And we either break it down by position. What are the factors you should be looking at in picking a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and defense. All right, it's time to reveal our new host for the DraftKings FanDuel show weekly. Let's bring him on.
It's AI Donald Trump back to make the Fantasy Football Consultants YouTube channel great again. I'll be replacing crooked Eric Lee and sleepy Michael Wiley as your host. Views for DFS shows in the past have been sad, a total disaster. We're going to get ratings the likes of which nobody's ever seen. We are going to win in cash games. We'll win in GPPs. We'll win so much. You're going to say, Mr. President, please stop. I can't take all the winning. If you like Trump as your new FFC DFS host, say so in the comments and hit that big, beautiful red subscribe button. See you in week 2.
There you have it, folks. Be sure to tune in starting in week 2, the preview for week 2 for NFL DFS, your new host, AI Donald Trump. All right, just as a quick reminder, the ways you can support the show is simply to get in the habit of liking every video and go out of your comfort zone to comment in the comment section. It could be anything. Tell us what you're thinking when you're watching our show. What's something you like? What is a suggestion you have? We especially like it when our audience talks about technical things in relation to what we're talking about. What are your picks for the week in NFL DFS? What's your pick in NFL Survivor? And give the reasons why. Because when we can get our community communicating with each other over the comment section, it's very powerful. Share the video with a friend or a family member. And if you haven't yet, please hit the red subscribe button. It's the best way you can support us. And of course, it's completely free. All right, let's talk NFL Survivor. Now, if you're not familiar with Survivor pools, it's very simple. You pick one game for that team to outright win each week. But once you pick a team, you can't pick that team for the rest of the season. And if your team that you pick for that week loses, you're out, you're eliminated, you're gone. The last player remaining in the Survivor pool, which could be a local, family pool of like 8 to 10 people, or it could be, millions of people on these free pools, wins whatever prize is at the end. So one of the things that we say in NFL Survivor, there are 3 prongs. There's the future value, there's pick popularity, and likelihood of the team to win. For week 1, my opinion, the one that matters by far the most is the team's likelihood to win, which is why you should pick among, not necessarily the highest favorite, but among the highest favorites. So there are 5 clear games, and in my opinion, there isn't any other game you should be considering for NFL Survivor other than these 5. Again, we're going to break them down in much more detail when our video comes out Wednesday morning with my co-hosts Michael Wiley and Aaron Dean. But let's take a sneak peek and look at some of these games. Denver is at home, 8-point favorites over Tennessee. Intriguing game. Tennessee has a rookie quarterback. They were terrible last year. Most people don't expect them to be much better this year. Denver had a slow start last year and then really came on as their rookie last year. Bo Nix really developed into quite a force. So that's certainly an option people can go. And you certainly can go with the defending champ, the Philadelphia Eagles, at home against Dallas. And the Dallas Cowboys, who will not have one of their best weapons on defense, Micah Parsons, traded to Green Bay. So this is an intriguing pick. One word of warning. The Philadelphia Eagles lost a lot of key ingredients to their defense, about 4 key players, so they're not likely to be as strong on defense as they were last year. But you know what? They certainly are a valid pick here for week 1. Arizona on the road against New Orleans. Look, if you've been watching the offseason, no team has probably had a better offseason than Arizona, as they spent a lot of money on their defensive line, which I think is going to pay dividends. On the other end of the spectrum, New Orleans. I don't know if any team had a worse offseason than New Orleans. Las Vegas puts them as the longest of all long shots to win a Super Bowl this year. They will likely struggle. One major hit to their team, David Carr, their quarterback, retired. So it looks like they're going to turn it over to Spencer Rattler for week 1. So certainly an option here to go with Arizona. Washington's also a valid option. They're 6-point favorites at home against the New York Giants. Jaden Daniels is a happy man. Why is he so happy? He's got lots of toys to play with. He's got Terry McLaurin, who's just signed a contract, so he is back, happy, and ready to go for week one. They added wide receiver from the 49ers, Deebo Samuel. He is going to help their team. And maybe most importantly, their offensive lineman they brought in, Laramie Tunzel from the Houston Texans, should really help for pass protection for Jaden Daniels. So the Giants, on the other hand, they did bring in Russell Wilson, and he will be their starting quarterback. So definitely an interesting pick here in a division rival game with Washington. Another division rival game is Cincinnati traveling to Cleveland. Look, Cincinnati should be the superior team. They've got all their key offensive weapons back and healthy. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Cleveland, on their hand, you have to admit that they went for quantity, not than quality for quarterback. I think they have like 4 on their roster. But they went with the most capable one, the one that's most likely to help them win in week one in Joe Flacco. So, this is no gimme. So a lot to think about, a lot to talk about in our show. I can't wait to hear what Aaron and Michael think. I am close to deciding between 2 teams, and I will make that final decision on our Wednesday morning show. All right, so let's talk about 10 value plays for week one. Here's the deal, folks. Both DraftKings and FanDuel set their pricing almost a month before the season started. So every year when that happens, there are going to be real values that pop up about a week before the season, which is where we stand now. And there could be more values that pop up between now and when the season starts. So you want to keep watching. So I want to go over some of these. Now, I'm going to give you 10. Should you be putting 10 or even half of these guys in your lineup? No, absolutely not. But just putting 1 or 2 or at most 3 in your lineup really opens up your salary to really go hog wild and spend it on stars that you really like for the week. All right, let's go through the quarterbacks. So these are 2 established quarterbacks. Drake May coming back for his sophomore season. Look, they both have very favorable matchups facing Carolina and Las Vegas, both at home. They both have ridiculously low prices. Lawrence on DraftKings and May on FanDuel. And they both, especially May, will help you a bit with their legs. So I like them as value plays on their respective sites. Let's go to running backs. Well, we've got a couple of good, solid bell cow backs at reasonable prices. Chuba Hubbard fits that. And so does Chase Brown. But we also have some rookies to talk about. Some rookies at absurdly low prices, specifically on FanDuel. Let's talk about Ashton Gentry at only $6,400. We talked about it in our FanDuel show. I feel like you got to get him in your lineup, given his role that he's expected to play and his price. But the other person that has really popped up is Trevion Henderson. Look, let's be clear. Ramondre Stevenson is still around. So there's going to be some type of split backfield, but the hype is in full mode here in New England of how impressive this rookie has been. And FanDuel pricing him at only $4,700. It's really hard to ignore his value for week one. Just want to comment, Chase Brown. We talk a lot about that Cincinnati-Cleveland game, but from a game script perspective, we think Cincinnati should win this game. They are a possibility for an NFL Survivor pick. And from a game script perspective, that should really help Chase Brown. He is the goal line back. He is the bell cow back on Cincinnati. All right, let's look at wide receivers. A guy we've been touting all preseason, Emeka Egbuka. He is going to be a starter for the Tampa Bay Bucks on their high octane offense. Why? Because Chris Godwin, due to his ankle, is going to be out, and Jalen McMillan, due to his neck, will be out. They'll be out for a while, but most importantly, they're not going to play for week one. So, another McMillan to watch out for is T-Mac, the rookie on the Carolina Panthers, who will unquestionably be a starter. He could be the number one wide receiver on this team. So someone to consider, along with Josh Downs, who had a great sophomore campaign last year and who will be competing with Michael Pittman to potentially be the number one receiver. I think the thing to look out for with Josh Downs is the change at quarterback. Let's be clear. Anthony Richardson is not a very accurate quarterback. In fact, he was one of the least accurate quarterbacks. And he also takes a lot of attention with his running game. With Daniel Jones as the starter for week one, I think that helps Josh Downs. He's got a great matchup against Miami in a dome in Indianapolis. This could easily be a shootout, and Josh Downs would be a beneficiary. I also like the game script in Atlanta for Egbuka. In a dome, should be a high-scoring affair with Tampa Bay and Atlanta, and McMillan is facing Jacksonville. But look at their prices. Egbuka and Downs are really cheap, $4,600 and $5,000 or $5,200, and McMillan's only a little bit more. So those are some 9 solid value plays. Our last one is at tight end, and we're going to once again go to Jacksonville. Brenton Strange. Now, quick reminder, Evan Ingram is gone. So your new starting tight end for Jacksonville is Brenton Strange, and it's noteworthy because of their new head coach, Liam Cohen, who was in the offensive coordinator on Tampa Bay, highly emphasized the tight end in his offense. Cade Otton had a very good year. And Brenton Strange, especially on DraftKings, is at an absurdly low $3,300 price. Huge value. So with these values, can I construct a GPP lineup on DraftKings? Yes, I can, and I did. So I picked on the Carolina-Jacksonville game by getting the value of Trevor Lawrence to his tight end, Brenton Strange. But I throw in also a double stack with Brian Thomas Jr., his favorite target, at a very reasonable $6,800 price. And I run that back with T-Mac on the other side. By going so cheap at this stack, I can go hog wild at running back with a ton of bell cow backs. We already talked about Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs, and Christian McCaffrey. They're all bell cow backs. They're all the goal line backs, and they all are favored. And they all, I think are reasonably priced given their production. It allows me to also spend up at wide receiver and get exposure to that high-scoring Tampa Bay Atlanta game with Drake London at 6,500. We got a punt defense with the New York Giants at $2,300. All right, I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Which of these 10 are your favorite value plays? And if you have a great value play that's not on this list that you want to share, please put it in the comments. Also, we want to hear what you think about this GPP lineup. Do you like it? How would you change it to improve it? All right, if you're wondering about, hey, what about FanDuel? Don't worry. We still very much like both our cash and GPP lineups that we put on our week one show. So be sure to go and check out that show. I will put that link to that show in our end screen, which we'll do now. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.